Um, while we are waiting to see if AV wants to come up, let us bring up our man Papi Blanco. We got Papi Blanco in the house. How are you doing, Papi Blanco?
Yeah, how you doing tonight?
Good, 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 good. What do you think about this situation here with your boy, Young Thug?
Man, this is wild, man. Yes, it seems to me like it's funny you got it seems to me like the feds don't hate rap music, man, because they always putting together these RICO cases against rappers. They don't put it together for nobody else.
Let me just jump in right here though, because this is interesting too. This was not brought by the feds.
Right.
This is
state RICO.
Yeah, this is Atlanta. And shout out to Atlanta. Atlanta's like, listen, if somebody busts out your windows, do not call us. We don't care anymore. We do not care if they bust out your windows. We don't give a shit about nothing. But somebody shoot a cop, like there's all these murders. They gonna get Demise. They are gonna get Demise. Right? They're gonna get Young Thug. Like for this big stuff, they are bringing out the big guns. The 28 people arrested, like they're serious about this. So, Atlanta's been pretty like, listen, we're picking and choosing our battles. But they have chosen, they've actually chosen this one. So, yeah, I feel you where you're coming from, Papi Blanco, because they've used this RICO to kind of expand and grab people who weren't really the intended targets. But I did want to make that distinction that this case is a little different because it's not federal. Like, this is Atlanta. Atlanta just been sitting back and like, no, we're going to put all our resources on this one case.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't mean to cut you off there. So what else do you think about this?
The reason why I say that is because I know people. I got a couple homies that rap and stuff like that. They wasn't like big time rappers, but they happen to be around, And especially in New York, I don't know if anybody know how the feds get down in New York when it comes to rap. They come and grab everybody. They can grab Bob Spurter. They can grab the Cassius 69. Now they got Casanova. You see what I'm saying? So one of my friends was around when he was signed to G-Unit Records with 50 Cent and then. And the way how police play, they go hard. Like, for example, let's say I'm signed to 50 Cent, right? They pull me over. I got gun and I got some coke in the car, whatever, right? They're going to force me to tell that this belongs to 50. And they cut me a deal right there, right there. You see what I'm saying? As long as I tie it in 50, because from what my friend tell me is like a lot of feds be looking for clout too, though. They want to put their name out there. So a big case usually make their career. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong though, a lot of these dumbass rappers, they make their job a lot easier when they start kind of rapping about what's going on the street, even though that 90% of these rappers, they ain't about that life. They just associate themselves with real monsters. And now that's how they operate. But 90% of the rappers, they ain't killing nobody. And that's what I'm about to say. Like, you're trying to tell me a guy like Young Thug, to remind you, he's YSL, that's his record. That's his record label, right? He got time to run the record label. And then he got like, I think he's a model for like Dolce Gabbana or Chanel. I don't know if y'all saw. Remember that time he had the dress on? That was a Chanel dress. That's a big time company. So he got time to do all of this, and at the same time he got time to go organize gang activities. That doesn't add up for me. You see what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing though. He wasn't wearing that dress in 2012. You see what I'm saying? They're saying that this started back in 2012, Papi. Like he's been doing this for a decade. He wasn't anything in 2012, at least from my recollection. I don't remember him.
And let me add to that too. He was running the streets before he became an artist. And so what they're saying is, back when you were running the streets and you were calling yourselves young slimes, this is young. You took your gang affiliated names and you turned it into a business. Right? So that just doesn't go away. So it's like someone starting a gang called Bloods Are Us, right? We're an affiliated group from the Blood gang members. Then you get popular, you get famous, and you want to turn Blood Are Us into Bloods Are Us Incorporated, right? all the same people that you ran the streets with, you brought them over to your company, and now they work for you, right? So they work for you professionally, but you guys did a bunch of crime back in the day you were never held accountable for. So granted, my assistant executive used to drop bodies for me when we worked the street corner selling cocaine. Now he's an assistant executive, and every now and then if I need something done, he'll take care of it, quote unquote. What's happening is these guys created a professional business and they're still doing criminal behavior, and then the money that they make from that goes to the business.
Now, I'm glad you say that. Hold on, I'm gonna stop you right there. YSL is the record label, right? Why they are the parent of the record label is Warner Brothers. Why they're not getting tied into the RICO?
He said,
why is Warner Brothers not getting tied in?
They're funding YSL Records, and so according to what my man tell me right now, they're using some of that money to fund the gang, but the money comes from October, which is Warner.
No, that's not what he's saying. What he's saying, and what I'm saying is that the gang was started way before the record deals. Like the gang was up in 2012. Like the gang was rolling, right?
No,
the gang was rolling. They were doing street shit, and then they rolled it into and spun it off into a record label, while at the same time still doing stuff, right? So it's not like you can say, well, why isn't Warner Brothers getting tied into this? Because the prosecution would have to show that Warner Brothers knew all of this and all of that, and a lot of times you're not going to be able to show that with sufficient evidence. Even now, it could be a few brothers over there at Warner Brothers who are like, hey man, they getting down over here. We need to watch them. But
yeah,
they can rap. So go ahead, Papi.
Yeah. Go ahead, boss. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying it could be that Warner Brothers might know. But
that's what I was going.
The prosecution would have to prove it. That's the thing. One thing is reality, and another thing is proof.
And here's the thing too, Papi. The way it works, these record labels know exactly who they're hiring. So best believe they have in their contract clauses that say, if you do this, if you conduct yourself like that, and it is said that this is this, we are gonna wipe ourselves clean of all this because we don't condone. They have a way to make sure that they can distance themselves from their artists. Think about all these artists that have committed crimes, have committed murder, have committed all kind of violent offenses, and you can never reach out and touch their pockets. Best believe they know what they're doing and they know who they're hiring. Again, they are in this profession for a long, long time. Now, let me read to you something that the news put out, right? And the DA made a statement about. What did she say? This indictment alleges that Mr. Williams, that's Young Thug, right? Mr. Williams is a founder of Young Slime Life, YSL, a criminal street gang that began in Atlanta in 2012 and is affiliated with the National Blood Gang. These guys created a sub-organization of blood gangs affiliated, right? They're called YSL. They started in 2012. He is a founder of a street gang that decided to coin their street gang their actual label. So he did it to himself. Yeah. So again, what happens is people forget. Everything you put out on social media does not go away. Your history. This is what we call a digital footprint. These guys have digital footprints because they thought it was cute, right? To be a thug. Again, he started in 2012. He's a founder of Young Slime Life. That's the name of his gang. It was a street gang. They committed a lot of street offenses in 2012. They just so happened to get wealthy, and they started a record label under another record label.
Right. And just because you're associated, let me just hop in there. Just because you're associated with someone in a business transaction doesn't necessarily mean that you are on the hook for what they're doing. For example, there was a monster who was a killer on the field and off the field, apparently. I think he played for New England, this Aaron Hernandez dude. Now, the Patriots, right, were paying him millions. And he would take some of those millions and buy a car and then go out and kill people. Now, by your logic, you'd be like, oh, well, why aren't they arresting Bill Belichick, right? Because Bill Belichick was paying him.
BLA, hold on now. Hold on. I'm about to stop you right there. When Aaron Hernandez is supposed to be a first round pick, right? He's supposed to be first. He's that good. So the Patriots do a whole investigation. They actually got private investigators to investigate the first round pick because at that time they used to give them $40, $50, $60 million checks as soon as they show up in the camp, right? They knew about Aaron Hernandez. He got in a shootout, one of those he got in a shootout in Florida. They knew that. They still drafted him. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying that they knew this man was going to turn out to be a killer. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say, bringing it back to Young Thug, I think these labels got to start being accountable because they always get money. You know how? When two artists start beefing.
So do you think the NFL should have been accountable too?
No. At the end of the day, no.
Well, what's the difference between the NFL and Aaron, and then Warner Brothers and Young Thug? What's the difference?
No, because we talk about big corporations. You see what I'm saying? Like sometimes they know about
the NFL is a big corporation.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. So what I'm trying to say is they be knowing what's going on, right? Like these labels, they know what's going on with the rap beef, and they still put money to fund it to the back and forth. That's what I'm saying.
You just said that the NFL knew about Aaron Hernandez and knew about the investigation. So what's the difference?
No, what I'm trying to say is like the families that die, I think they suing the NFL because they knew. No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I read. I don't know if it's true. The family that the people that Aaron Hernandez killed, they're trying to sue the NFL. They're going after him. After the NFL, I'm sorry.
But you just said that the NFL should not have any liability for that.
I meant to say, yes, my bad. I thought you were talking about Aaron Hernandez. Shouldn't be, the team should be accountable. That's what I thought you said. But they're going after the NFL.
So you're saying that Aaron Hernandez should not be accountable?
No, of course. I mean, he was doing life.
So
He's doing life.
You said that. Okay,
Hold on. I think, no. When it comes to a RICO case, I'm talking about everybody should be tied into the case. That's what
like Warner Brothers.
I think they should fuck that.
I got you. I hear you, Poppy. All right, thank you so much. We got my man Poppy Blanco up in the house. Thank you so much, Poppy Blanco. Really appreciate it. All right.